You're right down the street.
Okay.
You're what it do?
How you been, bro?
I've been I've been good. Actually, I got some exciting news. But first, I got to get in the whip. Put my phone.
Podcasting and whipping, boy.
What up? Three.
Motherfuckers ain't never done this before.
All my clothes off the hanger. That shit gate. Phone. But have you ever been with Charlotte?
What's up?
My friend Cam.
That shit, don't put me on the camera.
What you doing fine this fine
That's what I'm doing, boy. I'm synthesizing. I'm just trying to
sounds
figure
like
out this
sudden
fucking
death shit.
trying to figure out how this son of a bitch works. That shit is just fucking so complicated.
So hold on. I'm gonna drive back to mom's house real quick.
Oh my god.
So what's this exciting news?
Black Cameron.
What's this exciting news?
So look.
She poured out all the popping boba.
Uh, so remember that little thing I told you about a few weeks ago about the modeling.
Mm-hmm.
So the plans to go to California fell through, but really it was cool because I couldn't even afford to go to California anyways. You know, like I didn't have enough money to just like have fun. So I was cool with not going. But the guy I was gonna go with, his sister runs the company, right? The modeling agency. And we got in contact with her, and she, like, I guess through the chain of command talked to some people. I submitted like some photos to an email, right? Me and Ellie submitted some photos to an email. And it was like last week they contacted me over email, asking me to come in. So yesterday I went up to Houston and I went to the agency and I basically like auditioned to be a model for the company, and it went like really good. It went really well. Um, I talked to the lady that I auditioned for was really cool. Vibes were amazing, immaculate, and she basically told me like without like because she couldn't confirm because she's not the only person on the board that decides who the models are for the company.
Mm-hmm.
So but on her end, she says I'm good, but she's got to talk to the rest of the board. So Monday, I should hear confirmation on
Shit.
on that. But bro, the
Y'all both
opportunity.
auditioned?
What?
Y'all both auditioned?
No, Ellie had to send some different stuff. Like for women, it's different for like for them because they have like a lot more categories, a lot more like roles that can be filled. But also, there's already a lot of women in the modeling industry.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of like saturated for them a little bit.
yeah, so the company has to find. So basically, the modeling agency, what they do is they hire models, or they sign models. They sign contracts with people like me, like other people, and then they do the legwork to get you out with clients, right? So clients that need models or actors, they they, they will basically book us gigs, and we get 80%, they get 20. So that's why their whole deal. They get the 20% off of it.
Mm-hmm. Shit,
20%.
that's a pretty good percentage though. 80-20. I
right?
hear some like people who do that, like even with like record deals and shit, and you don't get nearly that at all.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Look,
You
I
don't
would,
even normally get 50-50 with that type of shit.
bro. I was kind of thinking about that shit last night. I was like, bro, I wouldn't mind like if the deal was right and the paperwork was legit. I would sign a deal for modeling. Like I would sign a deal with an agency. Like if they wanted to sign me on for like contracting, I would do that shit because it's like
But
why?
it's like contracting throughout jobs. It's not like it's not like where they give you money up front and you just like pay them back over time.
No. They so basically they find you the jobs. Um, the they'll pay you off the job or whatever, and they pay for all the expenses and everything. If it's like out of state or out of the country or whatever, they'll pay for it. Um,
Shit, that's pretty
and
good.
she was saying that starting off is 150 an hour.
Damn.
So yes, modeling and acting starting off 150 an hour.
What the hell is this? The Sims?
Well, because
That's
it's
pretty damn good, bro. Well, I mean, you're not gonna be doing it for 8 hours straight,
no,
but
it says
still, for like a daily pay,
2 to 4 hours each shoot, but
shit, still, that's still pretty good.
you could do 3 or 4 shoots in a month, and on top of having a job, you're making stacks.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good side business, and then you get exposure on top of that,
That's really what I'm looking
networking,
for in the.
all that type of shit.
Sorry about the car. But my car makes a lot of sound.
Nah, it ain't bad.
Fucking this bitch has gone through thick and thin with us.
Is that same one that you had whenever I was down there?
Yeah, I think so. The black one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro. The windshield's all busted out. Did I ever tell you that the hood latch on the car broke while we were on the highway, and the hood flew up and smashed the windshield.
No shit.
Hold on, can I flip the camera on this bitch? No, I'm on a podcast website. You see it?
Damn.
It ain't been running the same since. We got a lower control arm on the driver's side that's busted. He rattled and shit. I mean, the car drives. We've just been driving it till we drive, but he is not in good condition at all.
Shit, my car ain't that much better. I discovered a cool thing on my car though. Like driving back and forth to work, if I get up to like 120, my steering wheel starts to shake and rattle so much that it like equals out like a gyroscope and it just fucking drives itself straight.
You got that autopilot, the bitch.
Oh god. It feels like I'm in like a fucking rocket ship or something.
You're good. You're good. But yeah, no.
Chrome candle.
Hey, light the candles. We've been lighting hella at our place. We ain't got no electricity.
Zane brought this one up here as like a gift, and that shit's pretty nice. It's supposed to like be leather. Well, I don't ever really like candles and shit, but this one's pretty nice. A little candle for the stew.
Yeah, I like candles and incense and stuff. I like to smell good. I like
I,
that. You know.
yeah, I proved my theory correct. I've been watching, Mike Dean, the synth god guy, where he does like he's done all of Kanye and Travis's music.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Bro, I had this theory. I was like sitting there watching this motherfucker get high as shit, just like blunt after blunt, and just like play on these synthesizers. And I'm like, bro, that's got to be so live. So I got Zane to bring up a bunch of Kush, and I dropped a pocketbook on the synthesizers, and then I had this theory in the back of my head that it wasn't gonna work. I was just gonna get high and just want to fucking go to bed
Right.
and prove myself right.
And that's what happened, huh?
I mean, we did some shit, but bro, I could not fucking I tried to collaborate with Adam and make music and shit, but I don't think I'm just like made to make my shit on my own.
That could be. That could be true. I mean, they don't. I don't think that either one of them really have a passion for making music. They just like will
No,
do it.
Adam does. Adam kind of does. Like whenever he was like really knowledgeable about a lot of different shit when it comes to it,
Well,
and like
I think that it's more technical for him. He's just like he's so smart that he just figures out how to do things for fun. So
yeah.
really good at picking up on that kind of stuff. But I'm not sure he has like a passion for music.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you truly got a passion for it, then you probably pursue it. But I don't know. Adam's kind of like he's one of those people where he like got the chance to go to college and shit. So I think he just decided to pursue that instead. But he seemed like he was really interested in it. Like every single time that I'd be like, "Let's go in the fucking stew and just play around," he'd actually be kind of serious about it. And Zane would just get on the drum kit and just start fucking making so much noise that it hurt. He kept like, he kept just like fucking. We just try to talk, and he's just like on the fucking cymbal and just like out of nowhere. But I don't really have it set up in here for like live recordings and like band setup. It just like you can't really hear the other instruments over it.
That's live. I gotta come down there. If I get, I gotta get a new car before I come down there. I'm gonna get a new car. When I start getting this modeling check, get a new car.
I've kind of like I convinced myself while he was here that like I'm not made to collaborate. Like it's hard for me to do so from like what I experienced when we tried to do it. But I feel like you and me it would be different. Like we take this shit like we think about it a little different. Like I tried things. Like I didn't just like kind of fucking fuck off with it. Like I was like, all right, you try to come up with a part for this, and I'll do this. So we actually put some effort into it, but we came up with a couple little riffs, but no like full blown like ideas.
Right. There's no like, there was no.
Yeah, it was just like little like, oh, that's a pretty cool like little fucking riff on the keyboard or shit. I mean, they're not really that like. I guess he's been out of practice with it for so long that he wasn't really like fluent in certain, not even instruments, because I'm not a fucking virtuoso, but like just like basic shapes and like how to create like a melody or something. It was just kind of like all just like one notes. Just like
Right.
not really.
Hold on, I'm about to put you. Connected.
Your mic disappeared or your camera disappeared.
Yep, there we go. Hold on. I'm coming back. I just have to put these on because I don't know why. I think the case I have on this phone, like blocks the speakers or some shit because I can barely hear you on the phone.
Need to clean up my mess before he I'm so sorry.
You're good.
My gymnastics did not work with me that time.
Have you been creating any new shit?
No, not really. I've just been playing around with the fucking wait. dun 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 dun. I don't know. Uh, I did play around like with some scales. Like I tried to piece together some scales a couple days ago, and I've just been practicing. Where is my mind? Trying to like really get down that the chord progression, the chords, like the E. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how it went in my head again, but I know how to do it. I memorized that whole first part of it, and then the second the do 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 do. You know that little part right there.
Mm-hmm.
I memorized all of that. Now I'm just working on the speed, like actually keeping up with the timing of the song. Because when you listen to the song, it's it's really not, it's not a it's like it feels like it would be slow paced, but it's not super slow paced. It's actually like medium pace, medium fast pace. So it's much. So when I go from the E to I don't know what it's called, but you have the bar.
The bar
Yeah,
chord.
the bar
Yeah,
chords.
yeah.
I've been having a hard time transitioning.
It's the E, and then it goes to like down, and then you move that up, and then you move that up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that first part, I don't even attempt the like do 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 do. I just like what is it called? There's a way you can do it on an acoustic where it's like a different set of bar chords on it for that part. But man, I've been wanting to get back into like making covers because like I really fuck with that at one point, like doing like an acoustic version of songs and then just like singing over them.
Right.
And but I don't know. I've been experimenting with so much different shit, like instrument wise and things, but I've been getting away from technique a lot. I've been I haven't really been practicing like drum rudiments or like the up and down the neck thing because I've been reading this book by Victor Wooten, who Zane put me on in like freshman year of high school, or maybe even sophomore year. Whenever he first ever got that bass, that red bass guitar he
Mm-hmm.
got, he went down like the rabbit hole of like fucking Marty Music motherfuckers, and he found this Victor Wooten guy who was in a band in the '90s. But he's like this super fucking technical player, where it's like he does like all this shit where it's like fucking. It's more about the performance than the feel.
Right.
But in his book, he talks about how important, like his book is kind of like a story. Like it's got him and a character in it. So it's not like him just like laying down his rules of music. It's more of like a story with the lessons lined out in it. But he talks a lot about like, don't think about practice, just playing. And I've been taking this like I fucking wrote that shit on a note on my wall, and it just like opened me up so much more to thinking about it. Of don't think about practicing, don't think about technique, think about the music, and just think about playing the music. And to put it in to put it into practice of
Right.
doing it, I think about it as like playing along the songs to like for the drums especially because it's so hard for me to just like piece together all these different grooves and shit. But whenever I think about like, oh, all right, let me just try to like play the drums in my earbuds to this song and shit like that, I've learned so much faster. Same with the guitar. I've always learned the guitar faster whenever I like played along the songs and tried to learn songs
R-
rather than trying to learn scales and shit.
right. Because when you learn the songs, especially like songs that you particularly enjoy, you like.
You can feel them.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. It just and to tie that back into like the fucking "Where's My Mind," that was one of the first acoustic songs that I learned. And like learning to sing and play, I unlocked that ability with that song. And it's just like I can fully do music, not fucking instrumentals, not techniques, just like the true essence of expression through the language of music. And another thing that he talked about, which really put it into perspective for me, and I made a video about this. My last video is about this. Is like, if we think of music as like a language of expression, just like English, we think of English as like we express our thoughts and ideas through this language. Although not perfect, it's not like a fucking telekinesis could be, but it's like our language that we know. You don't take a baby and give them a dictionary and the alphabet and put them in a room and say, here, practice this for 4 hours.
Right.
He develops it through just speaking and being around it and that sort of, it's like through playing pretty much. And
Yeah, you just have to like, I had this fortune cookie one time, and it said, "Do not waste your time tuning your instrument. Just play." And what I got from that is like not to tune your instrument, because it's important to tune your instruments, but don't worry so much about the logistics behind music. Just fucking play it and figure it out by playing it and listening to it and feeling it, because that's the only way I've been able to actually figure out how to play the guitar or make any music at all, is just doing it. Just doing it, tapping my hands on shit like randomly to try to like feel for a rhythm or try to curate a beat in my head. Like that's what I've been trying to do. Now I haven't yet captured the essence in musical form quite yet, but I'm getting there. It's practice. I'm like I have the Garage Band in my phone that I've been like going to when I need to. Apologize. I'm trying to set something up on this Wi-Fi.
No, you're good. I can still hear you. That's all that matters. But it's just like that shit, that little advice. And then like another crazy thing is like, I'd kind of developed this like thought of my music as like work. Like my grandpa, I work as construction. It's a creative endeavor, and the music and the painting are both creative endeavors. And I'd always tell my grandpa I'd come home, hang out with him for like 30 minutes or so, get some shit done, and then I'd be like, go take a shower, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to work. And I kept saying that over and over. And then like whenever Adam came down, he's not as technically proficient as me. He's not into it as much as me. He's not passionate about it as much as me. But he had like almost like a better understanding of it than me, which surprised me. Now thinking about it, like he told me this thing where I was like, all right, this is work. Not an argument, but we kind of like got into like a discussion while we were doing it, where I was like, we got to work at this. This is work. And he's like, no, it's not work. It's play. If you take the fun out of it, then there's no point. And I kind of thought about it, but I was so fucking high that I just like brushed it off. I was just like, whatever, nigga. Let's just make our shit.
Right.
And then I was watching this Radiohead thing from Tom York, the singer of Radiohead, where he was talking to Zane Lowe. You know who that is? The Apple Music guy. He does all those Apple Music interviews. It's like Australian.
Yeah.
I was watching this interview with him, and like he said this thing where he's just like, bro, I'm just like a kid. I just like play with toys. He was talking about his synthesizers. And he's like, I just like play with these toys and like fuck around all day. And like I thought about that, and I thought back to what Adam had told me, and I was like, holy shit. Whenever I used to play with toys, like I used to play with these WWE action figures whenever I was a kid. And it was like an expression. Like whenever I'd be angsty or mad, I'm like fighting them in this like play ring, just like fucking around with them, expressing my feelings through the toys, through like these creative like little things I would act out through them in different ways. And I like made this correlation where I was like, holy shit, that's just what I'm doing with these instruments, but it's like has a different effect on me because of how into music I am. And I'm like, that's what I'm doing, is just playing. That's what it all is. And then I tied it to the Victor Wooten thing in my head, and I was like, holy shit. I, I was like, I felt like that fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson meme for a second. I was like, oh my God. I can't hear you. There. That's my favorite part. Well, not even like the grind and seeing the progress is one part, but for me, it's almost like a drug like feeling in my head when I gain knowledge. Like that kind of sounds like pretentious to say, but there's like this feeling whether I'm listening to like a Rick Rubin in a podcast or I can like almost feel my brain making these like connections and like it feels like that. You know how when you're in the gym and you hit fucking squats and then you jump, like today I hit squats and then I jumped over to my leg extension and I was going back and forth just like trying to feel out that like that pain in my quads where I'm just like but in my head through working out for so long I've developed like a way of thinking about it like holy shit, this is like medicine, this is like good for me. And I get that same positive feeling whenever it comes to like learning about music and getting all these insights from like my favorite creators and shit. And it's almost like a blissful experience where it just feels like like I can feel myself evolving. And it's like spontaneous whenever you don't expect it, but it's like when you need it to like almost show yourself holy, like it's like you put it in a specific part that you're not even thinking about and you're like holy shit, this has like been integrated to me now. That's pretty neat. Like that's how I felt whenever I call it like unlocked. And that's kind of like how it is. It's almost like you've unlocked it. Like whenever I like learned how to sing and play the acoustic guitar, like I had tried that for so long. Like I remember at one point whenever I first picked up guitar, I would practice for 4 hours a day, and I was more technically proficient than I am now. Back then, when I was 15, practicing like that, but I could not figure out how to like feel the music. There was no concept of that, and I also couldn't figure out like how to sing and play. Where I had like I could sing and develop a level of expression, and I wanted to combine that feeling of like full, just like letting everything out of me that I got from singing, but from guitar. And with guitar, it was all just like whenever I was only practicing like these fucking Marty music things 4 hours a day and shit, it was like I saw myself getting better, but I didn't really feel the music. And then finally, like a year and some change ago, I just like unlocked that, and it was like I'd given up on it multiple times within this year and whatever time frame, but it's like just the feeling of unlocking that has like lingered enough for me to like be where I'm at now, where it's like I finally fully embraced it. Like I held on to it so like subconsciously so long just from that feeling of unlocking that. That's how I am too. I got like all these tools and I'm like sharpening them, and now it's just like I'm ready to dive in. I got an uncle who I haven't talked to since I turned 18 years old, but he's like the musical one in the family. Like he was into Nirvana back in the 90s, like into that subculture, into like making horror movies, and he like had a recording studio in his home for like years and years, drums, the whole shebang. And like I'd always known about this. He recorded all of his shit on analog, and last night he texted me out of the blue because he talked to my grandma and she told him about what I've been getting into. And then this morning we've just been talking for like a couple hours over text back and forth about just like gear and compressors, and he's just been giving me like advice on certain things. And that's also that's like a cool little avenue that's opened up for me, is like I've always or I've always been like kind of like had a negative connotation towards him in some way because it's like we don't align politically. He's done like certain things in the family because of he's like super like not like a differing view, but he's just like super political type person. And it's always been kind of like off-putting to me, but for the first time I've just like tuned all that out and just been listening to him as like a fucking musical person. And he's been giving me like some really good fucking insight as ways to like with my drums and all different shit. And it's crazy because what he's been telling me in these couple hours is literally just been like validating what I've been learning recently. So that was pretty cool. It's almost like the fucking universe just like gave me like a thumbs up to keep going in the direction I'm going. At least that's how I've kind of seen it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even if like we never really hang out in person, because he's like real busy with like work shit, but just like that little bit of value that I got where it's like, all right, that is, I don't know. It just kind of like you said was a confirmation. But I've, that on top of affirmations, I've been deeply going into like tuning the affirmations, and I've put up a bunch of like posters in my studio of like goal setting. Like one of my goals that I've set for this year is I want to talk to Rick Rubin. It sounds like crazy, but in some way, whether it's like I find a way to interview him or just through my music, that's one of my goals. I want to talk to him. Hey, I'll put you on. But I got that as a goal. And then I got a couple like more like obviously achievable goals. Like I want to paint 50 paintings. I want to finish my album. I want to reach 300 uploaded videos. And then I have a bunch of other like monetary goals on there. But I don't really mention those because although I affirm that, I don't want to make that my main focus. If that makes sense. I want to make the artistic ventures come naturally and not be like bottlenecked or controlled by like a fucking desire of money. Cause that's how I haven't let go of a lot of my like fucking ego driven like self improvement shit that I got so deeply into at one point. Like I still have a lot of those subconscious thoughts about that, but I'm not gonna make it like at one point that was literally like my main focus. Like I would see every single fucking video pop up about like millionaire shit, entrepreneurship, and I'd just like latch on to it. And it's like I've let go of that. Like I don't latch on to shit. I can like scroll past and be like, all right, fucktard, whatever. Just scroll past the fucking like, you want to make $1,000,000? How you missing out? You missing out if you're not doing this. It's like, no, bro. My time has already been fine tuned towards my crafts. I don't need any more distractions. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I've completely embraced the thought of your creations as a diary entry, like the whole Rick Rubin approach to it. I've completely accepted that and let go of like letting these thoughts of like, is this person gonna like that? I don't think about any of that shit now. My whole mindset is directly and only if I like it, there might be fucking one person maybe out there that likes it. And if nobody likes it, fuck it. I like it. So that's that. And I'm getting to this point where I'm becoming really comfortable. I'm really comfortable with like putting myself out there into the ethos with my videos. And I feel like although the videos used to be like my way out, like that's the way I thought of them, I don't give a fuck about that. It's just like a practice of not giving a fuck and just putting out whatever I have in whatever's on my mind into the world. And I feel like that practice of that will transfer over to my artistic pursuits and allow and has like built a foundation for me to be completely comfortable with just putting it out, putting my more like sensitive personal things out. I haven't had a problem putting the paintings out there, but I get so fucking like it's like nails on a chalkboard whenever I go to put out like a piece of music because it's so personal to me. Or I'm just like, fuck. But I got a poster right there. I wrote. It says releasing art, pros and cons. On the pros side, let me grab this shit so I don't have to fucking like squint. I just did this shit in like fucking crayon. So I got on the pro side, you got cool to look back at, could always blow up, could inspire, and it's a good finishing metric. Because I have a hard time like finishing my projects, especially if it's just like a small little idea. And on the cons, I got one fucking thing. Kind of embarrassing, but nobody really cares. And that's the way you got to look at that shit. Is like, it might be a little bit embarrassing, but who the fuck cares? I had this thing where like I wouldn't tell anybody in my family except for my little brother found out about my videos. And I was just like, man, I don't want to see them in this light. And like I fucking like I found out that my little brother showed my parents. They didn't give a shit. I showed my grandparents, the most supporting people that I know. They didn't give a shit. And I'm just like, bro, nobody gives a fuck. That shit is live. It is like the most freeing thing. And I've heard it so generically, like for like 2 years, nobody cares about you. The art of not giving a fuck. Don't give a fuck what other. You hear this shit so generically, and it's just like it's almost like annoying how you have to like discover it on your own through your own like variables and shit in life. That kind of goes with like most of the generic advice, but I'm just kind of glad it happened finally. I'm gonna order me a pair of those like red lens glasses Rick Rubin wears. I'm just gonna start fucking making them shits. Bro, I found the reason why he wears those because he's got that whole Tetragrammaton podcast. Have you seen that? Rick Rubin, he did this. He had a podcast called The Broken Record where he interviewed like the fucking top echelon musicians. I'm talking like Tyler, the Creator, Kendrick, Barry Gibbs, all these like famous old musicians, everybody in the industry. And then they like kicked him out. So he started his own podcast. And this shit only has like fucking like 10,000 views an episode. And he's interviewing people like fucking Tom Hanks and like these like just like crazy like A-list people, fucking John Mayer, all these musicians and shit. And it's pretty neat. But he did this one with a scientist guy and Andrew Huberman. And they just went so deep down this rabbit hole of like synthetic light and red light and getting sun. And like that's why he wears those red glasses, is apparently they're like the like the best version of like a blue light blocker. See this is you can enable it on your thing in the accessibility. There's a setting where you can go to the display and enable a 3-click setting where it goes red. I've been doing that shit right before I go to bed. Like you said, the 2 hours. But I try not to get super deep into that because it's like the whole fucking diet. It's like the whole diet thing, where it's like a rabbit hole you can just like dive into and not come out of. Yeah. The main thing you need to like, even if it's like you get like a 2 bedroom something, just make sure you make one of those bedrooms like a fucking sanctuary, like you were talking about with the studio. Like, it's just like, I didn't believe it. Like, I'd watch these things of like Tame Impala where he's like, I didn't have a space to make my music, and he made Inner Speaker and Lonerism on like the floor, and I was just like, you can do this shit. But then I put into practice this other thing where these people were talking about that Chris Williamson guy was talking about how he has different spaces for everything. Like, he has a designated spot where he eats, designated spot to work out, designated spot to do this and do that, different tasks. And I put that into practice, and it's completely changed like my workflow. So it's kind of like one of those things where some people can and some people just like need to change up. The one behind that one? Oh, that one? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the kind of like narrower one. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Oh, good. Shangri La. Shangri La, my boy. Oh, God. With the shells hanging down from them and the different colors, that shit would be love. You need to look up. You need to look up sound blankets. I found this shit, like, it's like soundproofing, but like those moving blankets people use. People put those in their professional studios. Like, I didn't know this was a thing, and they dampen the sound like almost as well as like professional acoustic treatment. Bless you, bless you, and it's bless you, and it's like 10 times cheaper. I'm about to get me a couple of them for my drum kit, but you need to look into those, the sound blankets. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, bro. So you said where you been working at? I've been thinking about because I still, like I said, I got that mindset of like the whole fucking self improvement, quit your job, don't be a slave, and that type of shit. But I've really been thinking a lot more about Rick Rubin's whole point, where like he never expected to blow up. Like when he was making art, his whole thought was like, I love doing this so much. If I have to get a job to support me, oh well. I'll just find a way to do it in my spare time. And that he's like, I remember watching this interview where he's like, when I was first making like all that hip hop shit and like groundbreaking shit, he literally just like was completely okay with the concept of that. And I've been using that to like motivate me more to not be so like down when I'm at work and shit like that. I mean, my job is fun. There's creative elements to it, but at the end of the day, it's still like I'm working for somebody and like I don't have control over my schedule. But it's kind of like it's an interesting thing because I've been doing it for so long that I've developed a skill in it where it's like I like doing it, but I don't think it's like something that I like doing for like somebody else. Like if there's not like a complete creative freedom at all. But I mean, it gives me like the opportunity to spend all this fucking money on my equipment. So that's a positive. And I'm probably gonna keep working to at least like maybe another like 5 months or so, because I want to. There's a certain level of gear and like savings that I want to attain before I completely just write this chapter off. And I haven't gotten there yet. I've also not gotten completely comfortable with just like saying fuck off to my boss because like I actually do like him as a person. He's pretty nice, probably like one of the best bosses I've ever seen. But I mean, at the end of the day, no matter how friendly we get, there's still a boss fucking employee dynamic where I'm like referred to as like, oh, you got a nice helper there. And it just like, whenever I walk up to fucking client's house and I hear that shit, it's just like a, damn, I'm just the fucking helper, dog. But, oh, for sure, I'm very grateful for everything going on right now in my situation. There's no negative feelings besides like a little bit of like planning to get out of certain things. Like the job, of course, restricts my true passion. So one of my goals is to change that in some way possible. One of my goals is I want to make $10,000 a month this year. I want to figure out a way to do it. Uh, every single fucking past year, I keep thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm 18 this year. By the time I'm 20, and a lot of it's like comparison. But I'm like, all right, by the time I'm fucking like 20, I'll be over here, and it'll be this and that and this and that. And I did that last year, where I was like, all right, by the time of like October, I'm gonna be doing, and didn't work out in any way. I'm a lot further than I was at that point, but I'm not where I envisioned in my mind. But this year is different. I can feel this shit. Like it's like I have a true understanding on like on manifesting this shit as well as action in it. And I can actually utilize it, especially since it's something that I'm actually interested in myself. Not no fucking like videos or anything. Do what? You're breaking up. I can't. You keep breaking up on the quote. Yeah, I can hear you now. You were about to introduce the quote. Yeah, Nietzsche. That's yeah. That was our problem. We didn't, and now we have a why. Like now, I concretely see my why, and it took me these. It's so crazy when you put it into perspective of looking back over the full. Like for me, it's only been since 2020, really 2021. So it's only been for like 2 years, and I'd get so angsty and desperate during it. But now looking back, it's like it's just so beautiful looking at how like it all came full picture of like why this happened, and you see the full scope why, and it like helps you to dial in your future why, or really your main why. Mm-hmm. It's like it's like a more consecutive up. It's like you're going like you're going like up down, and it's like you kind of go up, down, up, down. Once you dial that shit in, you maintain that frequency a lot better. And as a frequency, it's still going to vibrate up and down, but once you can kind of finely tune it, you minimize how much it goes down. Hmm. You're fully going with the flow because you're comfortable with the flow that you're on, or the river, if you will. I'm just really fucking excited, bro. Oh yeah, whenever we were whenever you FaceTimed or I FaceTimed you about the 440 and the what was it, 430 or 5, what was it? Mm-hmm. I haven't really looked too much further into it because I got like sucked down this like synthesizer rabbit hole where I was just like watching a lot of these whenever Zane and them were here. We started watching these videos about like people dissecting songs. There's this really good channel called Dead Wax. They haven't uploaded in a while, but they were uploading these like with these like professional musicians in this like studio that fucking all these great people recorded in Fleetwood Mac and shit. And they're dissecting it in like not a nerdy way, but like describing it as like how you would describe music that you absolutely love. Like, oh man, listen to this. Like, they would just go super in depth. And there was a certain song where it had a synthesizer in it, and then I just fucking me and Adam went down this full like rabbit hole of synths, spent a bunch of money on this shit, and I kind of get that effect of like dialing. That's why I like it. You kind of like dial in the frequency of the sound, because like whenever it comes, I've been learning a lot about synthesis and how it works, where you start with this oscillator, which is what produces the sound. And with the oscillator, the whole theory behind being synthesizers is that you're subtracting things out of it and tuning the sound wave to something. And it's so cool because you can sit here and just like through your ears until something catches you. It's not, it's kind of distracting. Like it'd be hard to write music over it because it's not like an acoustic guitar or a piano where you can just like play these chords that you've heard 1,000 times and just kind of like hum until you find lyrics over it. It's like distracting because it's so like it puts me into like an instant flow state where I'm just like playing with these knobs. It's all physical. There's no fucking digital buttons, VST plug-in bullshit. It's all physical, and you're just like listening and tuning it exactly to what you can find. And then like you don't have to be technically proficient. Like I can't play fucking piano like Liberace where I can just go blah, 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 all up and down. But with the synthesizer, they have these things called an arpeggiator and a sequencer where say if I got like let me find something to explain it. That evolving over just me pressing one note, that's already got these are presets where they've already got sequencers on them and different things experimented on them with this piece of equipment. And I've been using the presets to kind of discover which sounds I like, tweaking them, and then I'm going to start kind of tuning my own sounds for shit. But bro, you need to look. I've got an addiction, and it's only been 2 fucking weeks. So it's like heroin. But I have found my pawpaw. I don't live next to like a lot of stores, but I told him like a long time ago to look out for music equipment for me because he goes into Goodwill and a lot of those places where he works. And he's one of those people where he works out of town in a plant in like one of those RVs and then goes back home and shit. And he like messaged me. It was like so fucking crazy, bro. I'm sitting here looking online at these Roland Juno synthesizers, which are like the most popular synth from the 80s. I'm talking about sounds from fucking Take On Me to all of these popular things. Even Tame Impala heavily used them in like a lot of his songs. The Nangs, you know I'm talking about, the Nang song where it's like that evolving melody. You know I'm talking about? It's like whoa, 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 whoa. He used the Juno on it, the Juno 106. But the thing about them is they've gotten so inflated that they're like $1,500. They're made by Roland. And like, I'm like, fuck. I would, but it's like, god damn, I can't justify it. He messaged me out of the blue one day where he's just like, and he hasn't messaged me about any instruments since I've told him that. And it's like a day after I'm looking at these things. And he's like, sends me a picture of a fucking Roland synthesizer full, just looks almost kind of like it. It's a different one. it's like a $600 full size synthesizer from the 90s that Take On Me, they made Take On Me with, but it's got like the whole fucking things of sounds. And he found it for $100 at this Goodwill. Perfect condition. And I'm just like, he's like, you want me to get this for you and you could pay me back? And I was like, bro, yes, please. And it it's kind of beautiful because like him buying it has like sparked his own interest in it. Like he's always loved music, one of those people where he like appreciates really good music, but he's never played it or anything like that. And like he's just been playing around with it since he picked it up, and I'm waiting to where I can have a time open to go get it. And he's like, bro, I literally just like played with this thing for like fucking hours. It's like 60 years old, never played music, blue collar guy. And he's like, this shit is so fun. And I'm just like, exactly. Do what? Well, he plugged his headphones into it. So it's got like a little like headphone output on it. And the way most synthesizers work is they're not a MIDI keyboard. They're made as like an analog instrument. A lot of them. There's digital components, but they're all mostly analog. So it's literally just like a red and a black 1/4 inch jack, like one of those banana plugs on headphones that you plug into the right and the left, and they go straight into a speaker. Yeah, and to record them in a DAW, you have to MIDI them out into it as like a MIDI track, as well as like putting in like what is it called? As well as putting in a how am I audio track. So you have to record them through 2 tracks. But bro, it's like a fucking like it's really like sparked. I've been interested in music, of course, for like the last fucking 6, 7 months, but it's really just like made my love and like experimentation process just so much more enjoyable because it's like you're like fucking playing. That's where I really understood like the concept of you're playing with toys is like these fucking analog synthesizers, bro. They're literally just like all physical buttons and you're like tweaking it. You don't have to mess with knobs and a fucking computer screen. It's all just like physical and like uh, they're just you got to just like look on market because like I didn't know what they were. I just thought it's like now it like that's just like grandpa shit, old people things. But it's like, bro, all these fucking bands, Radiohead, Tame Impala, uh, all the indie rock shit, MGMT, all these motherfuckers, bro. It's like the main piece I was missing is like the world of synths. And I was turned off by how like boring these like free like Vital Serum plugins are on a computer. They didn't like not vibe. Well, I guess I'll just say vibe, but they didn't vibe with me, and I was just like kind of turned off by them. It just felt like I was doing like some boring ass like producer work. But this is like I'm actually it makes me feel like fucking like Radiohead in the studio or something. Like I just feel like Mike fucking Dean, and it's I don't know. You could definitely find one for like a couple $100. The one I bought was 400, but it's like almost new, and it's like you can do fucking everything on it. But there's a little brother. I can't. There you go. Yeah, I can hear you. There's a little brother to this that you could probably find that's called Hello, 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 Hello. What's up? Oh, hello? Leave and rejoin. Hello? Hello. I'm gonna message you. Hello. For all the people out there listening to the podcast while we deal with these technical difficulties, hello? Yep. Oh, there you go. The record came back on. But where did I leave off while I was talking about the synthesizers?
I remember you saying that when you're like trying to input like synthesizer or I guess anything into your DAW, it feels like boring and mundane compared to like using live instruments to like record with.
It's literally like the missing fucking puzzle, bro.
Yeah,
like,
no,
that's
how I feel.
The only synthesizers people use in the VSTs, like, don't get me wrong, I've heard Mike Dean, the guy whose literally title is the fucking synth god, fucking $5 million worth of synth gear. I've heard him say that he uses Serum, the plugin, for tracks and producing for other people. But that's like new shit that people have been doing with like hip hop and like Yeet type shit, Playboy Cardi, that. But all of those sounds were on these analogs, and all of your favorite bands from the past, all the indie rock, like I mentioned, MGMT, Tame Impala, Radiohead, all used analog. Because it's literally the most inspiring fucking thing. And when you combined it with like, the best way to put it is like, you see the fucking like that Currents video from Tame Impala where he's playing the bass, then he goes over to this. It's like, bro, it unlocks that level of like experimentation of like, all right, I'm gonna lay this out with a guitar with like an effect, digital effect. Maybe it's a fucking distortion, reverb, make it like sound dreamy or whatever. Then I'm gonna fucking like fuck with a synth over it. Then I'm gonna go over here and like pad on some drums with it, and it's like you literally, I don't know, I feel like I'm transported into that fucking Tame Impala Currents recording video, bro. It's like, I've been watching that video over and over for so long, and now it's like for the first time I feel like I have that fucking power in my hand. And you, like, I spent $400 on this synth. This was a $400 synth used. I bought it used. It's still like new, but this one, you can literally, it's a mixture between digital and analog. And you can recreate almost every effect on like $1,000 synths, and they sound just as fat. I mean, you can hear the sound from it. It's nice. But
yeah,
there's a little brother to this called the Micro Freak that you can pick up used for like $150 or even $100, which is just a smaller version, but it has the same level of like unlocking things. It doesn't have the physical keyboard. It's got like this weird, like the scroll wheels or like pitch controls on a keyboard where that sometimes a pad. That's how the keys are. They're like a touch sensitive like keypad. And
I've seen those. I've seen products like that before.
But this one, it's like these are like the two most like, bro, synths are a fucking rabbit hole, bro. I would recommend let me get like I've fucking started learning about them. Yeah, I'm 1% in, but it's like it pulls you in so many different directions of like, no, get this, but actually get this fucking one. And I've culminated and just said fuck all that and bought this one. It was like I saw it reviewed and like the explanation of it, and I can confidently say if you can find like a really cheap polysynth digital analog combo, which the Micro Freak, this is the Mini Freak, the Micro Freak does, same amount of shit in it, pretty much. You'll learn synth, you'll learn how to use a synth on it, and you'll have that same level of experimentation.
I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, I probably go with that recommendation. I'm just gonna like look on Facebook.
It's such a fucking ocean of contradicting advice that like if someone like me could have just been like, don't listen to it, just buy this. It's cheap. You'll get what you're looking. And I could probably give you one other recommendation if you want like a physical keyboard. But what you can do with that is you can plug it into your MIDI keyboard or actual like keyboard, and you can have best of both worlds without having to spend $500 just to have a fucking keyboard on it.
Right.
You can run the sounds of it and MIDI it into your MIDI keys. So it's it unlocks a level of experimentation for sure. Like it literally gives you that techno, Radiohead, Kid A, OK Computer, fucking experimental sound. All the sounds of the 80s, fucking Take On Me, all that shit. But it don't make you fucking start being like, oh, I need fucking 20 synthesizers. Like some of these motherfuckers, it's an addiction, bro. They literally call it like the synth addiction. Or you'll see these people who are making like fucking $40,000 a year and they got fucking $40,000 worth of synth in their room and they've never made an album. It's just like you get so down that you know what I'm talking about. You get so down like the rabbit hole of just like
buying stuff,
accumulating gear that you just like forget. Hey, let me see if I can make some shit with the stuff I've got, and that's kind of like where I finally am at now. I'm still buying a couple things, but I don't need to fucking. I've got everything I need, and it's time for me to create.
Yeah, I think I watched a few videos when I first started music production. It was like a lot of people saying, buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. And then there's this one guy I came across that was like, if you can't create music with a MIDI keyboard, a DAW, and a synthesizer and a few little small things, if you can't create music with just that, then you probably shouldn't make music, And I think what I got out of that was like, you don't need all of the gear possible to make good music. It's the gear that helps you create. The music is inside of you, and the equipment just helps create the music inside. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's just all about it's just a tool to express what you're trying to say and how and then the instruments are just like how you're going to say it. But the how is so much smaller than the why, like you said. But I mean, I have a lot more gear compared to you. But compared to some people, I don't have shit. I only have one guitar pedal, one synthesizer, one keyboard. I bought another full-size keyboard. I did splurge, and I bought a full-size 88-key keyboard so I can start practicing. I didn't go super crazy with it. And then I got my drums and microphones. Looking forward, the only couple of things that I'd spend a lot of money on is I might buy one more microphone for my overhead drums, because the one I got is like $80 and it kind of sounds trash. I might buy a mixer. I've been looking at these Tascam mixers where you can plug up to 16 microphones and inputs into it.
Yeah.
And if I get that, I'll give you my interface, because I won't need it. It'll just be fucking gathering dust. I got this 4-piece interface. Well, it's going to fuck up. Pull it over here. But I'll give you that, because I ain't going to need it. I was going to give it to my little brother. I got so into, like, putting time into, like, making my little brother make music. My parents bought him a fucking E-drum kit for Christmas. I gave him one of my bass guitars. And This motherfucker literally just like put him in the corner of his room and played it for like an hour. He didn't even have a cable to play or anything. Like he had zero interest. I brought down like 3 different pieces of equipment that I was just so into giving it to him. I was like, I'm gonna fucking create a young Kevin Parker right here. This gonna be so live. But he has no fucking interest besides playing Fortnite. It pissed me off. But you actually fuck with that shit, and I'll give you it. Cause it don't.
bro.
I'm not really big into like selling it for like to make $200. They don't really. I don't really need to do that. So I'll give you that.
Appreciate it, bro. I need an interface. This is what I need right now. I don't need it, but this is what I would like to have. While I don't have it, I'm still gonna practice my guitar and practice in general. But what I need is studio monitors, audio interface, and I think that's really it. Unless I might want to get like a studio version or the actual Ableton or some sort of actual package for digital audio workstation. How much was it? Damn. Oh yeah. Right. Huh. Interesting. Right. I would definitely, I would definitely be out because I played around with FL, the FL free trial, and I what I like about it is that you're able to learn the interface, like where everything is and how to put it into, like how to put tracks down, lay the tracks down on this, but it doesn't go beyond that because you can save your tracks, but you can't come back and work on them. So right, yeah, you get the drum sequencer. Yeah, right, right.
I'm taken,
You got the car
but
keys?
just out of curiosity, what makes you say that? Well, for one, I'm not anti-men, and we're all
Thank
horrible
you.
men here. Well, no, but
Yeah, I think that I would be more comfortable using Ableton. I liked FL, but like you said, like I kind of caught the vibe that it was like it was, yeah, because it's really able. Yeah, you never actually like um, applied it or anything. But I think what's really most important about like what well not important, but what's really been like the biggest hurdle is like understanding that you have to learn how to play these instruments and use the software to create the message inside yourself. Because it's not the message that I have a hard time figuring out. It's just like how do I portray the message? So like that's been the most challenging part of this all, but I guess also the most fun is just overcoming that obstacle. Yeah, 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 yeah. Right. Which is really it's inspirational. Which is really inspirational if you think about it. Is this a synthesizer? This house that I'm staying in, right? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I think I just found a synthesizer though. Maybe. This house that I'm staying in temporarily, uh, he here. I'm about to get better connection. Hold on. We're about to figure something out together. Is this a synthesizer? Yeah, this is a synthesizer, but I'm gonna shit my pants. I found this like this downstairs. We shall see. Can you hear me now? What about now? Can you see me now? Look, I just found this down there. I don't know. It says synth on it, but I'm not sure if it is a synth. There's demonstration, pitch, auto bass chord. You can control the tempo, the rhythm, synchronize. There's orchestra. There's like an orchestra thing over here too. But over here, you can switch from Yamaha PSR 12. Is it? Bet. That shit mine now. And it's free. Because this lady, she basically forfeited all this shit. I mean, not really. This is still her house, but everything that she's left here, she doesn't really want it. There's also like a big ass drum set downstairs too. I kind of want to get, yeah. There's a fat ass. Hold on, I'm trying to get this like dirt off of the fucking keyboard because it's been sitting in a basement. I'm about to take this bitch to my mom and plug it in. I'll probably get that too. I just want to make sure it's in good condition before I go out of my way to grab it. Let's see. Can I find a flashlight that is working right now? That's the question. Yeah, she had a bunch of guitars here too, but those are all busted. There's a little amp downstairs too. That might work, but I don't really need that amp because I'm trying to move away from the amps because I want to use the audio interface and start using plugins for. I'm recording it for you so I can send it to you. It's a Pearl World Series set. Hold on, I'm about to send it to you. But it doesn't have any symbols or anything down here, but that's fine. Yeah. But I mean, if you have everything else, you don't really gotta worry about buying that stuff. Shit. Yeah, that was huge. I don't know where I'm gonna put that bitch. Just sell it and get another one. Right. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. No, I could hear it. It was pretty clear.